all right. So I think the best thing for me to ask is just tell us everything as much as you want.
Okay, so 7 years ago, when I was without work or anything, I had huge passion for art. 8 years actually now. Yeah, it's eight. Eight. Um, I wanted to show how good I am because everybody was telling me that I'm not good. Even though I was, it was a mind fuck. That's the real world because you're really good at designing, but your papers are telling you you are not, and artists are telling you that you should do different character art. Never mind. I wanted to start, and it starts with hard surface. And as I said, when I developed type 1 diabetes, 99, 2000 actually, after the bombing, I wanted to create a hero with diabetes, and I was at the lowest point of my life, returned to leave my parents, sick, recovering and everything. And I started slowly to develop science fiction story based on my Belgrade, my town from Serbia, my life, and on experiences and my friends. And it started as a simple thing, and it's for last 8 years I developed it's 600 pages, not written. We are not talking about written, we are talking about designs. I have 47 characters designed in 3D, in 2D. I have 16 vehicles, I have cities, I have planets, I have whole science fiction universe designed based on the things I told you, weapons, their skills, but I also wrote their backstories. I wrote the story, and then I was in a talk with Hollywood to sell it to them. It didn't go good. They asked for many other stuff, 2019, and then I said in 2020, when I finished everything after 5 years, it had 400 something pages. It's behind me, and the story is a little bit complex. I'm not gonna get into it. It's based on my life, so everything that happened to me is translated onto that. I also have my friends, and they inspired the characters. There are so many funny because I have very inspirational friends. I want to say thank you to the universe and the God and to them for giving me them, because there are some funny people, man. There are some funny lives they lived, and we all actually lived. And then I started to develop the third book, which was Inside 44 Stories and Scenes. And I rewrote the whole story, and it has 200 pages now and 140 scenes. I'm 15 more scenes and I'm done completely. And the book, so there will be 3 books: Inside 44 Story and Scenes, where you will have scenes in the story; Inside 44 Vehicles and Max, where you will have vehicles max; and Inside 44 Characters, where you will have characters with their backstories. It's a huge universe. I have also toys. I have the guitar that you see behind me is in one club where the guy plays. It's 3D printed. I 3D printed it. There is also helmet. You can see there is a lot of stuff in my office here. So yeah, I developed the whole universe. To cut the story short, after 8 years, I sacrificed everything for that, and now I'm coming to the end. 50 more scenes. I think it will be the hardest thing to do, and then reorganize the books. And my plan is next year to release it till November. The book is done. I don't care anymore. What happens, and then 2013 we will see. But I'm publishing it no matter what. I don't care anymore.
All right, and well, I'm sure you'll definitely keep us posted on when it gets released and stuff like that. So I'll definitely keep in touch to see what it is. And also that I know, I'm sorry, I know it must be pretty dumb question by me, I'm sorry, but
there is no dumb question.
Trust me, there are. But here's the thing: how does one exactly pitch an idea to Hollywood?
Oh man, I can go forever with that. Like from Serbia, very hard. So to cut the story short, I was trying to reach the agents. I pulled as many connections I had. Nobody could connect me. I connected to only one producers. They tried to take everything from me, and eventually I had to copyright. I lost a lot of money on that, and then I was looking for any way to do it. And from Serbia, it's really hard to do it because you don't have connections here. You can't connect with anybody. I thought that I could do it through artists, but that wasn't happening through artists. Artists don't have that kind of connections or don't want to give them. And eventually I was looking and looking. I even called the CAA, creative agency for talents and stuff like that, and then they answer and they say, well, sir, you can only get to talk with agent if you have referral. I don't have referral, so I couldn't get that also. And I'm still looking for somebody to represent me. That would be really good, because maybe this sounds egoistic, but I truly mean it, because Marvel directors saw this, DC and stuff like that. They said that they never saw anything like this in their life. So I'm openly saying now on this podcast, I'm still looking for somebody to represent me. I have a lawyer, but I need an agent. That will take and connect us. And eventually how it happened, because I'm very curious to know stuff, and I explore a lot. Eventually, I found the Hollywood Pitch Festival that was happening for the first time in history online, and you have 5 minutes to present your idea. And there was 12 companies that, out of 13 that I pitched to, 12 were interested. But I didn't have a lawyer back then, so they showed their faces very fast. And they started to try to steal it also, and I was offered $1,000 from two of them, $1,000 for everything. And when you don't have a lawyer, sharks very fast show their teeth. But the trick is that I know law a lot, and I read a lot about it, plus my father helps with that. And they didn't get it, of course, but it was very fast for us to separate our ways and go different ways without the lawyer. So that's one of the things I had to learn. So I pitched there. I was waking up at 2 a.m. to pitch till 8 a.m. because of the time zone difference. And that's how I got to pitch to them. I also, through some connections, but also didn't go good, man. Honestly, I'm telling you, it didn't go good. But now when I finished everything, I will maybe look for an agent also. But I want to publish the book. I can't anymore. 8 years, man. It's literally like this. It's pressuring me. I'm dying with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I was kind of like, amazed by, because of course, you now explained the whole process, but I was kind of like baffled, like how, because when you pitch your idea to some producer, how are you like, how sure are you that they won't just steal your idea? They're gonna read it. They might take some ideas and they say, oh, we're not gonna do anything and scrap it. You see it a lot with even. It happens all the time in Hollywood and just all around the world,
They tried, I copyrighted. Nobody. And what? There is one trick. With my work. There is 600 pages of designs and words. Nobody can steal that. Nobody can steal it. If it was a script, it's a different. You can improvise, you can change names, you can do this. Man, this is designs and the story and everything. You can't steal it. Literally, it's so complex that even if somebody decides to steal it, they can't steal it. So it's also copyrighted now, by the way, on a law of the whole world. I paid a lot of money for that. But now when I think about it, I shouldn't have even copyrighted it because, man, it's so complex, nobody can steal it.
No, but still, better safe than sorry. It's your life. It's one of your it's one of your biggest life works, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. It's
one more trick you have. You take the book, you put it in the post office, you ship it to yourself, or two versions. You print it and you ship it. And it comes to your address. You never open it. You just put it aside. So when somebody tries to steal it tomorrow in the court, you just bring an open thing, give it to them, and you show it to them. And that's you were the first one to create it. Anything after that is somebody stole it.
My mind is actually blown right
now. Yes. I know. I blow my mind from time to time. I'm joking, of course.
That's actually kind of genius. I never thought of that.
I wish I went to that, but no, I read that somewhere on the internet. I told you, man, art is everything but drawing. You need to learn different stuff, and I'm really good at learning new stuff. It's one of the skill sets that I have. I explore everything.
Yeah, and wow, that was really interesting. And all right, here's another question that I think might be interesting as well. Who are some of your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most, like overall?
Oh man, the list is huge. I was inspired by so many of them. I will start. I hope I won't miss anybody, but I will try and tell many of them because the list. I'm inspired by many people. I'm also very, very well known that I like to give comments because artists tend to be very mine, and I'm very open to give a comment when I see something. Like you heard me when you said Till, I was like, damn, his sketches are incredible, because they are. The first person that inspired me the most was was Leonardo da Vinci. Of course, he is not with us, but I'm a huge fan of Leonardo da Vinci. I have his books, read 7 books about him. I was also very inspired by Nikola Tesla, as every Serbian. I read a lot of books about him. From the living artists, one of the people that had a huge influence on my style, and I hope I will meet him. We still didn't meet, unfortunately, is Ora Ita. That's a French designer, industrial designer. His style is really cool, and he invented something that stuck in my mind, and it's called simplexity. Simple but complex. He invented the term simplexity. So he influenced Scott Robertson. Is a huge also star in my head. His books and everything, man. Neville Page also with him. I remember when I was seeing their Gnome on DVDs and stuff like that, I was like, wow, when will I get to this level? They were like, I swear they were literally like gods to me. Fausto De Martini is definitely a superstar for me. I have a really big privilege because I talk with him from time to time, and he is, man, I know his work since 2004, and for me he was a superstar when I started. I wanted to be him, and I wanted to do anything that he does, and his work is out of this planet. Those mechanical details, still I open from time to time to see them. Vitaly Bulgarov, of course, is one of them also. Then Edon Kurazi, who is younger than me 10 years, but man, that guy can design, that guy can do business really good. Who else is there? I loved also from the paintings. I love the Pablo Picasso is a great painter for me. He inspired also a lot. Who else do I have? Daniel Simon, of course. Daniel Simon, I unfortunately we didn't meet. He came to the studio when I was living in Italy, and we didn't meet, but I have such a strong need. Sid Mead is also there. Then Ryan Church definitely. Who else do I have? Man, those guys inspired the hell out of me. Like, I love their work so much. Each one of them is so unique. If I continue talking, I will talk for hours about them and their work, because I analyzed it for hours and months of time, and reading all about them and how they started and so on. I mean, they're also from time to time, people don't know that, but from time to time I send a message to people that inspire me, just to say thank you. And I have a guy that follows me on Instagram. He sends me messages, and they went to my request folder all the time. And I open, and he had a YouTube channel, and I open and I say, man, thank you for inspiring, because his tutorials were some of the first one to that I watched for car design, stuff like that. So those are some of the designers. I can go on forever because I really have a huge list. These are the most influential. I'm sure that there are some other ones that I also didn't mention, but man, these guys, I don't know, they opened my brain literally, and I was like, that's insane. That's insane. Also, there is some fresh names that probably will be shocked that I've followed them, but there is Billy Christian, and he is from Riot. He does those things. When I see their paintings, I'm like, man, how the hell do they do crisp colors and lights like this? I can never do this. So for example, he is amazing. He's a big name, but not as known as other guys. But man, he inspires me a lot. Andrea Chiampo is there also. He is recent. He also does hard surface and stuff like that. Man, he is also great. I mean, the list is huge. If I continue, I can open my Instagram literally and tell you there is names and names and names and names and names, literally, because I never get stuck to only one person. I just go everywhere. What looks good looks good.
Yeah, and I actually remember the thing I was wanted to ask you is because one of the things that I wanted to ask you as well is um, there was like a piece you uploaded on January 5th that it's called Earth Giant 2016 Art Station Winner, and you in the captions you wrote, "I swear this work and award shaped my future." And do you know what I'm talking about? Which one?
Yeah, of course. How can I not know we're giant? 2016, I started working on the book, and I didn't have money, and Art Station Challenge started. That was the first Art Station Challenge, and I decided to participate because I won many challenges before that, and this looked like opportunity to show my skills to the world. And I started working on it. I worked on a 17 inches monitor with overheating laptop that I had to cool down all the time. And I was working on it, and I designed. It had 1.6 gigabytes of RAM or something like that. So it was a mess. I have it still. I keep it still. I keep that computer. I put it at my parents' home in the glass dome, so it's hidden there. And man, I was working on it, and I created Earth Giant, and Earth Giant won Art Station Challenge, and it exploded over internet. It was a really good work, but Art Station, I am grateful to them forever because they gave me an opportunity to have a challenge so I can participate and win it. And when I won it, I immediately became very recognizable as Darmar. Overnight, out of being nobody, I was recognizable because of the great work and the challenge. So it literally shaped my future. It shaped my future. It opened many doors for me.
Wow, that's actually so awesome because I mean, a lot of people like kind of not complain necessarily in terms of like always complaining, but they kind of stuck on how to grow as an artist and stuff like that. And one of the aside from networking and everything aside, like challenges is always a great way. And you're not the first guest I had on the podcast whose career is kind of kickstarted with challenge. Like I had like there was this actually he's a friend of mine now from Mohamed Hussein Ataran. He's actually a hard surface artist, funnily enough, and he also participated in an art challenge in an Iranian art website like a couple of years ago. Like by a couple of years ago, I mean like a decade or something ago. And it kind of led him to a lot of connections and networks and stuff like that, and it kind of helped him a lot to grow up. So yeah, challenges is always a good thing to get involved in. Like a lot of people, listen, there's a lot of people that artists that their careers kick started during a mention from an Inktober like challenge. The Inktober page probably like, but it's kind of like
Yeah.
unrelated to designing like 3D model hard surface stuff. But you get the point. Like art challenges is a great way to great opportunity to break into the just make a name for yourself and start something, get something going on.
You know what's a great thing about art challenges? I always say that I would send any art person or design person to sports where they play in a team. Because most of the artists have that problem where they don't understand this from time to time they have to lose. Or maybe most of the time they have to lose. Depends how good you are. But challenges keep you in check. First of all, you know where you're on the ladder. Second of all, you know when you lose, because art is an abstract thing. It's not an abstract thing. It's abstract thing for people don't understand art. Art can be judged same as mathematics for people that know. I learned that lesson the hard way when I was first year in the university, and I asked, we have Milos Šobajić, which unfortunately passed away due to Corona, but he was amazing painter. And I said that I don't understand his paintings, why they are so expensive. And then a lady came to me and she said, it's because you can see the quality of the line and what I can see. I've been doing this for 30 years. It's same as mathematics. When I see a good line, it's same. For other person that doesn't know art, they don't know. So then I spent years learning that because I didn't know to do and it sucked. So it was a great lesson for me. And challenges keep you in a checkup, your ego and everything. Man, I took 4 second places. It hurts you when you see that you should be maybe first, but it builds a character, man. Next time I will get the first one. And I will tell you one funny story. When I won one challenge, the guy we were in a great terms and we were talking and everything. For me, it's normal to take the second or third place or not to take anything. It's the way challenges are. And when he was writing to me, he was always saying, well, man, I think I'm taking the first place, but you will take third or something like that. And I was like, okay. And then I won the first place. And I sent him message. He didn't send anything to me. And I sent him message because I sent to everybody. My father taught me when I did sports that you have to give a fair play. And I said when I was second or third, I would send the emails to guys and say, congratulations, really good work because you won. You probably put a lot of effort in it. I respect everything. And I sent now to him and to the third guy place. Tomorrow I was erased from Instagram and blocked everywhere.
What?
I was erased from Instagram and blocked everywhere. And one of those guys still tells bad stories about me in studios. And I think 6 years later, it's time that you know why he does that. Because that's an ego thing that I think he never played sports, so he never checked it in. So that's one of the things that competitions make you master when you compete. They make you master ego and get in a check-in uh, that you are not supposed to win every time. It's very humbling when you have the strength to send to somebody who took your award away from you and tell them great work. Man, I was once on a challenge. They flew me over to get awards, and they say my name, and I get the first award, and I just see four guys storming out. They're just storming out angrily and leaving the. So that kind of artists may be really good at drawing, maybe really good at designing, but I don't predict them very big career because of their personalities that they
And
never
immaturities, yeah.
in maturities. I don't because art you have to be mature because you will lose a lot in art. It's a battle, constant battle. But if you don't have the strength and courage to understand that not every award is for you and that there are other people and that you should be happy for them, then I don't predict you a high career.
Yeah, and so wait, I'm still a bit shocked. I mean, it's not unpredictable to see this type of individuals, but someone who lost you in an art battle decided to block you on all socials and make your basically try to destroy you, right?
Yeah. It's not the first time in history that something like that happens. It's very common thing. It's very common thing.
Did they message you or they had an interaction with you that they decided to do that, or they just were kind of like so salty that they decided to like
We had a normal interaction before I took the first place. We had a normal interaction. Then
Oh.
all of a sudden, I was erased when the awards were. We were talking every day. All of a sudden, I'm erased when the awards were given. So it's the thing. It's one of the things about the art industry, guys. There is a lot of jealousy. There is a lot of people that are immature. It's just the way like that, the way it is. And the easier you handle that, the better you will do. I'm very emotional being. It hurt me a lot, that kind of stuff, because I'm not doing anything to them. I didn't understand why would somebody hate me when I didn't do anything to them. But it's one of the life mysteries that we can solve very easy with calling it jealousy and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess, yeah, about the sports. I mean, you might say sports right now because a lot of people don't want to get physical. But here's the thing: just in chess in general, right? The world of chess, all right. I know this is going to be off track, but it's related to what we talked about. Like with everyone, like in 2020 there was a boom of chess, not necessarily because of the series Queen's Gambit, but because on Twitch and a lot of internet personalities, even before like Queen's Gambit, it started to really get popular. Chess, got super popular at the time, and I got back into chess when I was a kid. I used to play a little bit chess, a bit, and I love chess. I got actually addicted to it. And here's the thing: I didn't care if I lose or not. Like I just wanted to play and learn. I was fascinated. Like I'm sorry to say this, but even when I was on toilet, I would just play chess on my phone, like online with people.
That's okay. That's okay.
Like 1 minute bullet matches and stuff like that. And like in a day, I would like play like 36, 40, 50 10-minute matches, like sometimes. And I was that invested in the game. And the disgusting thing for me that I realized is whenever I put a story about chess, someone would say like, "Oh, I used to play chess," and I would excitedly say, "Hey, want to play chess?" And they're like, I used to play chess. Well, basically, they would backpedal and they would be scared of losing. And the weird thing is they didn't want to defeat. Like, why? If, for example, if I invited you and we to play backgammon, a game that is based on luck, they wouldn't really care. They were like, "Oh, if I lose, it's because of luck." But if I lose at chess, my ego is get hurt. It means I'm dumb. It means I'm dumber than you. Oh no! And that's what. And here's the thing, that's something subconscious actually in a lot of people. They don't do things like. I Here's actually a memory I have. Like there was a Twitch streamer. I don't want to name him. There was a famous chess Twitch streamer. All right, and he was inviting people to come play with him on Twitch, online. And at the time, I was like a 700 rated noob. Absolutely. And I was excited. He was a grandmaster, sure, but I didn't care who I was like playing with. I just wanted to play it. If I get a chance to play with the grandmaster, I would take it in a heartbeat, and I did. And of course, I lost, but they were trash talking me in the, like, not just the chat, even the guy next to him. It was like, oh, he's probably cheating. He's probably looking on engine to see what moves he's gonna play. Like, I was like, what does it matter? I'm just trying to play, man. Like, there was this whole mentality of like, this toxic mentality and this gatekeeping thing in like chess, and I'm sure it's even in art. Like,
But
here's the thing.
that's a normal thing, because in anything competitive, you'll have a lot of voices around you. When you play professional games, it's even worse, because you have children that don't have boundaries, they don't have coaches, that there it can get physical. When we were growing up, that was a long time ago. You will have a lot of opinions and comments, and for me, that is perfect, because if you as an artist especially, you will have a lot of opinions and comments, because everybody is opinionated, and wants to comment, and that is great, because after all, your job as an artist is to put your work on the canvas, and people will throw tomatoes at you, and I strongly believe in that. If you can't master that everybody is commenting something differently, don't be in this profession. Don't be. And the higher you are, the more tomatoes are there to be thrown at you. And uh, many artists, people can't handle that, because we all want to be superstars when we watch them, how they have the best cars, best girls, best everything, but there is so much behind it, and especially that trash talking, I think that is very hard to grasp to. Sports teaches you a lot about that. I strongly believe in that.
And just competition in general and sports as well. And speaking of sports, another, like, just I'm gonna quickly wrap this up, all right? But the thing is, with the chess one, like, I had a friend from university who I remembered used to play chess, so I messaged him and say, hey, after a long time, hey, you want to play chess? And I knew he was a high level, way high level. And we kept playing, and I kept losing, but I didn't care. I was having fun, and he would be surprised. They're like, you don't care that you're losing? Like, by the way, I never won a match against from him from 100 we played, and I still didn't care. But he was kind of like getting off put that I didn't care about losing. He didn't want to play with me because, I don't know, I wasn't winning. Like, that was even a weird thing for me. Like, if you're doing something for love of it, you're just in love with the process of learning every single minute detail and don't care about losses, And another big example about that is about sports. As you mentioned, for like 2 years, I used to competitively train for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and submission grappling.
Oh, nice.
And I would just grapple with anyone, and people would, for example, be afraid and try to not, grapple with the purple or bulbas. So I was like, hey, wanna? And I would usually be the last one to pick a partner, but I would usually at the first one go with the blues, purple pulse, and they would ask me, wait, don't you are scared to get fucked up? And they would literally, one of them said that to me, and I'm like, I mean, you have to get fucked up to get better, right? Like,
Absolutely.
Isn't it? Tell me, like, isn't that how we get better? Of course. I mean, that.
Well, but you need to have courage to do that. You need to have courage to be aware that you need to be fucked up, because it's never nice looking bad. It's never nice looking bad in front of others, and people need to understand, to get to look amazing in front of others, you need to look really bad. It
And
like that. It goes like that. Man, my art sucked 15 years ago. I was drawing hangmans. But every day I was coming to the work and presenting and presenting and presenting and presenting, and eventually it was like that.
yeah, definitely. And like, it's so weird. Everyone wants to like look clean and sharp and like tidy, and like they want to look like they got the shit figured out, but no one. Majority of people don't got their shit figured out. They just pretending they do. So here's the thing. That's been kind of the theme of this episode, but just, if you really, regardless of setbacks, regardless of like how dumb you might look, if you actually like something that much, don't leave it, honestly. And the chance of you becoming a top star at that field is much higher than anything else that you might not have that certain passion for it. And yeah, that's, I guess, the best way I could also explain the fact that when it comes to art, like I even said this like in another episode, like I'm being legit. Even if I go homeless, honestly, if I go homeless, that's not the worst thing, by the way, that could happen. I would still find a piece of charcoal and start doodling on walls, and I wouldn't stop. Like, that's just because that's something that makes my life kind of fun, I guess. Because at the end of the day, if you want to really simplify it mathematically, what we're trying, all of us, to do is to make our limited time that we have kind of fun and enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah.
fulfilling. I
Also,
mean that,
you need to do stuff that you don't like. I told you that in beginning. That
of course.
superstar mentality, where you're a superstar. I think that one of my highest qualities was that I never liked to wear a suit. I always loved to wear a weather jacket and get dirty. And I'm just like that. It's when I was in studio in Italy, I started to realize how important that is, because when the new ones guys would come, they would give them to cut the papers. They would cut the papers eventually. Nobody wants to do it to cut the papers. I did it for 6 months because I love, man. What I love what comes after that. I'm gonna draw and stuff like that, and I'm gonna design. But other guys never wanted to do it. They never wanted to do it because in their head they were superstars. They were superstars. They finished the best universities. I also finished the best university there for that. But humble, I hate the humble word. Honestly, it's overused. I hate it. I think that the word is how can I'm thinking still for the right word, but the word would be let's make it a sentence, because I'm not smart enough today to make a word. After 2 hours my brain is melting slowly. The word the sentence would be doing something that you don't like so you can do what you like. And it's literally like that. It's literally like that. Pendulum maybe, like
Yeah,
that.
pendulum. Yeah.
Pendulum, yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's a really interesting, like, that's one of the, like, the sayings and expressions I really love in our language and culture, in Farsi language, which is has the same meaning. It basically, I'm gonna say the Farsi version, then I'm gonna translate it. یک سال بخور نونو تره 100 سال بخور نونو کره. What does that mean? It means, literally, the literal translation is eat bread and, like, tare is like a really vegetable, like onion, like onion springs, like
Okay,
it basically, let's say, eat bread and onion for a year, but eat butter and bread for 100 years. Like, do
definitely.
kind of like that, mentality, like do all the hard work so you can, live the rest of your life, with bread and butter. Like,
Definitely,
I mean, bread
definitely.
and
You build
butter
your
is
life.
not really a healthy option. It's going to give you diarrhea. Don't try
The
that.
question
But
is, do you like bread and butter? That's the question always. One more important thing: what do you like? Not what other people like. What do you like? Today, everybody likes AI or hate on it. Do you like AI? It's not about if they like it. Do you like AI? That's the question.
yeah, definitely. And all right, so we've talked a lot about, like, the technical stuff, and just a lot of art related questions. I want to ask you this: what area beside the area you're working on right now would you be interested to explore and learn in the future? Like, of course, you're working on art related stuff. You're working on your personal IP. You're working on your projects. You're collaborating with Sonia and all that stuff. All that stuff aside for a second, what other ambitions and objectives or things you want to do in life there is for you?
Well, the second thing is I wanna when I finish with the book and everything, I think that I will move in a direction of diabetes, developing gadgets for diabetes. That's definitely like I have on my hand and stuff like that, sensor that measures diabetes, and I want to push people to understand that you can do anything with diabetes. I'm a living proof. I think I also want to do more sports, like push my body to the limits, and probably I want to have a family. Because as I said until I don't finish a book, I don't want a family or anything like that, because I wouldn't have time for a wife or children. Now I feel the body is telling me that the time is coming, and I'm not getting younger. Even though I can go like this till 50, because I'm youthful and high energy person, but I think those are the things, and I want to give lectures around the world, and I want to speak a little bit more. I want to see and explore the world also. That's
Awesome.
that's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, I explored art quite a lot. It's my true love. I love it to the core, and I want to design a sport car with somebody. So I want a sport car very unique, and that's it pretty much from the ideas that I have in my head now. So when I finish those 15 scenes, we are on to that. That's the next step.
All right, awesome. From a 1.6 gigabyte RAM laptop to a sports car. That's a nice journey.
Man, it's a progress from the small ball to the big ball. That's how it goes.
Exactly.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. And honestly, good luck with everything you have in your future. I hope you get them
Thank you.
all.
Thank you,
All
Ramtin. Thank you so much.
right. My
Yeah,
pleasure,
thank you
man.
for inviting me for the podcast. I hope that it was fun.
It was. It's nearly 2 hours, and then it's one of those podcasts that you spend 2 hours, but it feels like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like my longest, by the way, podcast was 2 hour and 20 minutes with Laura Gallagher. Like we hit it off, like a lot of notes when it comes to like our taste, and just different stuff. Episode 160, that was a great episode as well. Like it didn't
Yeah.
feel like 2 hour and 40 minutes. And well, we've reached the final question and section of the podcast. We're not off the hook yet. All right. And which is called Final Words. All right, let me explain the whole situation. Imagine in a limited amount of time, maybe a couple of minutes that you had the opportunity in that window of time to say anything from yourself, Darmar, to anyone who might be listening in the future to this podcast, this episode, and at any point of time in the future, maybe a month from the future, a year, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, if the world hasn't gone to shit at the time. And in that case, what do you have to say? It could be anything. Like maybe you have like a couple of minutes, and in that couple of minutes, what do you have to say?
Somebody in 10, 15 years from now. Well, I will just say 3 sentences literally. Man, it was all worth it what you were doing. All the dots eventually connect because all the situations and people work for you. And becoming Darmar was one of the best decisions you ever made.
All right. And here's the thing, like to the people who might be listening as well, like what would you say to them as well?
This was for me. I wanted to have this recorded, so when the book comes out, I wanted to have it recorded. So
Awesome.
when it comes out, I wanted first that. But let's go to the second part.
All right.
I will try to be smart if it's possible, because motivational speakers already used all the motivational words and quotes for that kind of stuff. So I don't know how much I have it in me. But what I want to say is, just because everybody is telling you that something is not for you, you know that it is for you, and follow that path and never steer away from it. There will be some hardships, there will be some horrible situations, but eventually you will be eating bread and butter for sure. And don't follow other people's dreams, because they are not your dreams. The dream is something that God and universe has given it only to you, and you're the only one who can see it, you're the only one who can feel it. And no matter if your family, friends, or loved ones are telling you that it's not for you, I strongly advise you to pursue it, because life is very short and there is only one of it.
Beautiful said. And thank you so much for coming by for this episode. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Ramtin.
By the way, for anyone who is listening, we managed to like arrange all the podcasts and everything in one day. Like I was just messaged, hey, want to do a podcast? And I was like, yeah, sure. And yeah, it was easy.
It's called being professional. It's called being professional.
Exactly. And here's the thing, by the way, no one asked a question. That's why I didn't ask anything. Like no one put in a question in the question box.
Nobody likes me. What can I do?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. That's the case, man. But yeah, thank you to anyone, by the way, who tuned in and listened to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, same as me. And by the way, if there's any comments or suggestions, just as always, please do let me know. Whether it's like in YouTube or Castbox or anything, or you can just send me a private message. I check all the private messages as well. And there's one thing I forgot during this whole time that I wanted to mention as well, alongside the retirement of our lovely microphone. There's something else that I kind of achieved like a couple of days ago. So, I kind of have a pretty strict and structured organization when it comes to doing the podcast and everything. I have everything under control in a notepad. Like the technology that's holding all the operation of my podcast here is a single notepad file called guests. All right, I write everything who came out of the podcast, everything I should contact, everything that's I've contacted before, whether it's on email, art station, Twitter, everything. I document everything, And the thing is, there was a section of that list that was people I should message. And by the way, you were on it as well. And here's the thing. There was like 700, 800 people there. That's been like culminating for like months. And I couldn't, get to it. And I finally finished messaging all those people yesterday.
Oh, nice.
And the total number is 1,720.
A lot.
Yes.
A lot.
During these 2 years. So yeah, that I just wanted to mention that as well. And I probably go on hiatus when I reach episode 200 because that's my big milestone for now. Because there's a lot of other projects in my life that I want to focus on as well. But of course, when I do that, as I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, I think to you just before we start recording, I will make a post and video just to introduce a lot of different podcasts that I think are interesting to watch. And of course, as I mentioned, our guest today, Darmar also has a podcast as well. It will be there as well, and also in the captions of this episode. You shouldn't wait like 25 episodes to get there. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much for everyone who followed me in this journey, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. And thanks so much for coming by. That's about it, people. Stay safe. Take care till next episode. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming.